know what? The Arboretum is so special, but this year in particular, because of this early spring, we're talking about 32,000 tulips, all basically blooming at the same time. You have to come here to experience it. It's almost like Holland.
It is almost like Holland. And the great part is, this year particularly, you've got early, mid-season, and late tulips all coming up at the same time. So this particular year, you can see the different varieties blooming, what their head looks like, what the shape looks like. It's just phenomenal.
When a man can turn his childhood play into a career, one must say he'd done good.
Well, I don't know. I'm born a maker. And when we were kids, we played heavily with sticks and also worked in the woods.
Patrick Daugherty was drawn, as kids are, to the toys of nature in his youth, sticks and stones. But as time wore on, those sticks became his artist's palette. And now he is a world-renowned environmental sculptor, bending and twisting the twigs into sculpture.
I feel like my job is to make something that captures the public's imagination.
He is at work now, creating a piece that will greet every visitor to the Minnesota Arboretum for at least a year to come. One twig at a time, he is molding his imagination, turning child's play into artistic reality. Jana Shortle, KARE 11 News.
This summer, the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum has a unique exhibit. It's called Powerhouse Plants.
Features a variety of interesting displays and some great ideas for vegetable gardens.
Well, this is a really exciting summer for us. Powerhouse Plants is what plants can do in your life. Not only food for fuel, we think about that, but also how plants power our imagination. And in the future, we want plants to power a lot of the activity with driving our cars and heating our homes and things like that. So we've got a lot of the power of plants from many different aspects for the public to see this summer.
Again, we're back in the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum in one of the most pretty places you can find here.
Absolutely. We are in the Dahlia Trial Garden. It's one of only 8 gardens of its kind in the country, and each of these dahlias is competing against each other to be the best.
Award-winning.
Absolutely.
Well, what makes dahlias so spectacular are the size of their blooms. This bloom is 11 inches wide. And the color is fantastic.
There's just nothing like a dahlia. I actually started growing them in 7th grade.
Really?
Yep, so I've been at it for a while. I've got 80. I've been saying that that's too many, and other members of the society say, no, there's never too many.
When it comes to Minnesotans, we are bananas for our apples. Why? So many of the greatest varieties have originated right here at the U of M's Landscape Arboretum Apple House. You should have your own action figure, because this is the grandfather of the Honeycrisp apple. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you David Bedford.
I am only one small part of the team.
You're blushing. You're blushing a little bit. I asked him earlier to pick his favorite variety, and you should have seen his just turn into knots, because it's like selecting one of your children.
It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. And when we have 2 great kids, it makes it all the tougher.
Over here we have, coming up hot on the heels,
that's right,
of the Honeycrisp.
Yeah, this is the child of Honeycrisp and Zestar. This is our newest one called Sweet Tango. And just introduced last year, so it's brand new on the market. Not very many of them around yet, because as a new variety, there's just not many trees planted. But this one has so much potential, we think.
Why don't you slice one open?
All right.
And the reason there are so few trees is because you were telling me earlier, it takes roughly 30 years to go from a seed of an idea, seed of a fruit, to having enough trees to produce enough fruit to make it available to the public.
That's correct. Would you like to take the first bite?
I would love to.
Do you like pumpkins? Well, the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum has so many pumpkins, they're calling it a pumpkin palooza. And not just pumpkins, there are scarecrows and much more leading up to Halloween weekend.
They're all here, some 90 varieties. Look at this display. There's probably somebody in my neighborhood who's trying to go big or go home with their pumpkin display, but they're not going to beat this. It's fantastic.
Every year in the main visitor center, the Arboretum is making spirits bright, and of course they have their annual Christmas tree display. And nobody knows more about the themes of this year than my very good friend Tom. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us a little bit about this year's theme trees.
Certainly. Well, this year is similar to previous years in that they're all nature inspired. So most of the materials that you see on the trees are ones that have been gathered from the grounds of the Arboretum and also from the backyards of our many volunteers and staff who make all of this possible.